Hello YouTube and welcome to Full Dottle, a channel dedicated to tamping topics such as pipes, tobacco, lore, and more. I am your host, the Bearded Briarman, and without further ado, let's get lit. Welcome back everyone, and on this episode of Full Dottle, we're going to begin our journey into blending tobaccos at home. But first, a little housekeeping. I am smoking my Dracula Series Peterson. This is an 80S Bulldog. It is a Sandblast, and in it, I've got some Full Dottle Original Blend #1. Still haven't named it. It was just one of those blends that I first experimented with it when I did the home stoved, Eric Stuckaby's 1855, I think it was. I'm not sure exactly. It is a blend that I will most likely never recreate, so it's probably going to keep the name Blend #1. But I thought it was something kind of symbolic since this is our first experiment to be blending. I thought it would be kind of symbolic to be smoking it. So. Got a thunderstorm going on here. I wish it would have waited until I was going to bed, helped me sleep, but you might hear the thunder. So, being the very first time I've done this, I don't really know how I'm going to format the segment, so be patient with me, and hopefully I'll put this into a better flowing video for you in the future. But for now, I'm going to explain a little bit about the tobaccos that I'm going to use, and then we'll get into measuring them out and weighing them out and all of that stuff, getting them together. I will steam hydrate the tobaccos and jar them off screen and then wait 2 days. I'll come back to you and we will smoke them and find out what it tastes like. So every one of the blending components that I bought, I actually tried. Some of them didn't surprise me too much because I had had them in the past. And some of them surprised me a great deal. 2 of them surprised me a great deal, one of those being Perique. I thought that straight Perique was going to just be knock you down crazy, and it actually wasn't. It was spicy. It was so spicy indeed that it just about gave me heartburn, but the flavor profile from it wasn't just overwhelming. It was very unique. One of the things that I found from it, it gave a mint and licorice type flavor that I hadn't had before in a blend. So I was very surprised to get that. It also, at the ending of it, after you had puffed on it for just a little while, I got like a beer, like a barley type flavor from it, which I didn't expect. The other one was Dark Fired Kentucky. The Dark Fired Kentucky that I have from Cornell and Dill as a blending component had a very unique sweetness to it, almost like a mix between allspice and cinnamon. And that was on top of the smoky hardwood type flavor that you normally associate with a Dark Fired Kentucky. It's just something very unique to me. I didn't expect that, but anyway, today's components, what we are going to be creating is a 6 tobacco blend. I've got another camera set up. Join me on that and we will get started right away, everyone. If you have been watching my channel at all, you know that I love Red Virginia. And recently, through my reviews, I have learned that Red Virginia and Oriental tobaccos work very well together. They complement each other so well. So that is something that I want to incorporate into this blend. So starting out, I'm going to put 30% Red Virginia. When I smoke the Red Virginia here, it's a Red Virginia ribbon. It has a mild tartness, the rye berry, toasted bread, It's got a delicate malted grain and a pastry-like sweetness. I wanted that to be the base of this tobacco blend. Now you're going to see from the other tobacco's components in this blend, there's another tobacco that's going to be higher in content than the Red Virginia, fresh Red Virginia, but I'll explain that as we go. So let's start out. 30% of 6 grams is 1.8 grams. So let's go ahead and get our Red Virginia. There it is, 1.8 grams of Red Virginia. And that's going to give me that tartness, that rye berry and malted grain that I enjoy so much. The next one that we're going to add in here is going to be 10% home-stoved Red Virginia. It's the same Red Virginia component, Cornell and Dill Red Virginia ribbon, but this has been home-stoved 200 degrees for 300 minutes, and 10% of 6 grams is going to be 0.6 grams. There we go, 0.6 grams. Add that to our bowl here. And that home-stoved Red Virginia, the flavor profile is going to have a mild stewed fruit. It's going to be higher in the earth and mineral flavors. It's going to have oats, almonds, white bread type sweetness. It's basically the Red Virginias, the fresh Red Virginias, but they're darker, they're deeper, and they've got more earth and mineral type flavors to them. And that has been added to the bowl. Now, our third component is going to be the Izmir Turkish Orientals. This is the Virginia, and Orientals are the base of this tobacco. And I am putting in 35% Izmir Turkish Orientals, which equals out to 2.1 grams. 2.1 grams of Izmir Turkish. The Izmir Turkish tobacco has that dry mustiness. It is very floral, has a cedar-like sweetness, if that makes any sense to you. It's hard to explain, but if you've ever had that cedar-type taste, it has a sweetness to it, almost like a herbal-type sweetness. And the Oriental tobacco, the Turkish Oriental here, also has that herbal flavor to it. So that goes into the bowl. Next, this is quickly becoming my second most favorite tobacco. It is a white Burley, Cornell and Dill white Burley. I'm going to put in 12%. 12% of 6 grams is 0.72 grams. 7.72 grams of white Burley. That goes in the bowl. The white Burley has a lot of the same flavors that the dark Burley does. The difference is the white Burley is sweeter and much more mild than the dark Burley. I can get nuttiness, toasted white bread, it's woody, very lightly spicy with a sweet herbal quality like honey. It doesn't have the, it's not that very rich sweetness from honey, but it has a slight sweetness and that herbalness that you get from honey. White Burley is, I just thoroughly enjoy white Burley. If you're a type of person that doesn't like the very sharp nature of the dark Burley, that real sharpness that it has in a blend, you might want to look for blends that have white Burley, because I was actually very surprised at how mild the white Burley was compared to the dark Burley. All right, the next component in our blend is going to be the Perique. I enjoy a healthy spice to my blends, and for this blend I didn't get too carried away because I don't want it to be overpowering and causing me to take too much attention away from the other components. So I have decided to put in 8% of the Perique. This is the Sutliff TS20 Louisiana Perique, and 8% of 6 grams is 0.48 grams. This is a ribbon cut, 0.48 grams into the bowl. That doesn't seem like much, does it? All right. And this Perique, as I was talking about earlier, this Perique, when I smoked it, it had that peppery spice, stewed fruits. I got like a fermenting grape, like a red wine, a deep red wine out of it. And I also got that kind of unusual flavor that I didn't expect, the mint, that cool mint, as well as some black licorice. And I also got hints of barley out of this as well. It was very unusual to me, but that's what I got when I smoked it by itself. And you know, when you smell it and when you smoke it, you definitely get that musty bogginess from it, and that would be, you know, kind of obvious because it's aged within the oak barrels or whatever that is. So that's kind of obvious, but those are the flavors that I got from it. The last component that is going to go into this blend is unsweetened black Cavendish. I am going to put 5% in this blend. 5% of 6 grams is 0.3 grams. 0.3 grams of the black Cavendish. This is Cornell and Dill. It is unsweetened black Cavendish, so it's just natural Cavendish. And I was very surprised by this as well when I smoked it, because it actually has a very, very neutral flavor profile to it. I didn't get a lot of flavor from it, but you can definitely taste like brown butter, cream. It's got a very delicate brown sugar sweetness. I don't want you to be, when I say that, I don't want you to think that this is one of those very sweet, almost aromatic type sweetness. It's not. It's a very, very mild sweetness, but it does have that, it's very reminiscent of brown sugar. It also has a flavor that's, it's just, it's hard to pinpoint, but for me, it was almost like the flavor you get from a mineral water. It's a neutral flavor, but you can definitely catch a neutral type, mineral type flavor from it. All right, everyone, so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of toss this around a little bit. These big chunks of the Perique and the black Cavendish, I'm gonna break up a little bit because the Perique that is in this is a ribbon cut rather than the granulated Perique. Maybe in the future, after I go through this ribbon cut, I will decide to get some granulated Perique. It might be easier to incorporate into a blend, but this looks to be mixing pretty well. So after I mix all this up, I will steam hydrate it, and in 2 days I will smoke it in front of you, and we will see what it tastes like. All right, everyone, it has been 2 days, and it took all of the willpower that I could muster in order to prevent myself from smoking this. I wanted to light it up so bad. Anyway, so I've got it here. I steamed it off camera, rehydrated it. Everything went pretty well. Now let's open it up. I'm gonna see if I can catch the the jar note for you. For me, it's offering a lot of sweet cocoa type, nutty, woody aroma. The bouquet is beautiful on this. The Orientals give a very nice floral note behind it as well. All right, let me load this pipe up really quick and I'll come back to you. I'm trying to condense this down so we don't run too long. Let me load this pipe up. I'm gonna go ahead and light it, and then I'll come back to you with what I think, and also start giving some of the tweaks that I want to do to the blend if it doesn't meet my satisfaction right off the bat. So stick around, everybody. Ooh. Right off the bat, that Perique is floating right on top. I wouldn't say it's the lead component just yet. I only used 8% in this blend, but it's definitely floating on the top, sprinkling that spiciness into the blend. I can catch the tartness, that rye berry type flavor from the Red Virginias and that earthiness from the stoved Red Virginias. The dry mustiness from the Orientals is a little strong in my opinion. So I actually think what I might do with this I may cut out the stoved red Virginias altogether because I'm getting more earth and mineral than I would like in this blend. So I may take the stoved red Virginias out completely or decrease it. The Orientals I'm going to decrease just a little bit. I think I'm going to increase the black Cavendish. Okay, so let's start with that. I'm going to most likely remove the stoved red Virginias completely. I am going to decrease the amount of Turkish Izmir Oriental that I have in there. I'm going to increase the amount of black Cavendish. Let's see where that puts us. And I might fidget just a little bit with the white Burley and bring that up just a little bit. I think what I'm going to do when we go into another blend, however many Saturdays it takes to get the versions right until we get something that we like, I am going to go ahead and just focus on that until that finishes, and then I'll continue with lore and more. But stick around next Saturday. We will do the tweaks to the tobacco itself, the components, and see what that gives us. Also, instead of weighing it out on camera, that took up way too much time. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to weigh it off camera and have each component weighting, probably in like coffee filters or something like that, and I will explain it the same as I did with this as I go through it, but I'm just not going to weigh it out on camera because it took too much time. So anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of Full Dottle. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and until the next time we see each other, I bid you farewell and happy piping. Bye, everyone. Don't forget to enlist in the Full Dottle platoon. It's easy. Just click the subscribe button. Also, hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as I upload the next episode.